Hey there, my name is Jesse. Welcome to my channel where I won't shut up about domain format. If you don't know what domain format is, I have a video I will share. You can learn all about it there and get caught up to speed. What is up, everybody? I am back. I wanted to do something with you guys, so today I'm going to go over Duelist Nexus. We're going to look at the whole set. I'm going to mention anything that I think will be good from a domain format perspective. But first, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. I am well on my way to 300 subs, and that is absolutely crazy to me. I want to say thank you to everybody, and for everybody who's joined recently, welcome. I do plan on getting more games recorded. It's just been a little difficult recently. I got plans for summer, and so does everybody else, and so it's just been kind of difficult to get games scheduled with my friends. But in the meantime, I've been traveling to other locals, Yu-Gi-Oh locals, and I've been trying my hand at playing some advanced format. It's been actually really fun. So I've been using that as a chance to spread the good word about domain format. Everybody I've talked to seems like it's been interesting to them. So if you've joined my channel after I've met you at a locals, say something in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. In other good news, we've surpassed 600 people in the Discord. Again, I'm floored. People keep joining every day. I don't know what's going on. If you haven't joined the Discord, there's a link. There'll be a link in my Linktree down below. It's a place where we can schedule simulator duels, remote duels. We brew decks, show each other deck lists, talk about spoilers as they're revealed, and we share memes. And the cool thing is, I've seen a lot of drama about like Discords and stuff lately, and we've had absolutely no trouble whatsoever in our Discord. Knock on wood, because I don't want to jinx it. But everybody who's joined has been really cool, and we've also been able to have respectful discussions. Oftentimes something will come up like what should be banned. Everybody has discussed it respectfully and treated everybody just fine, which is, I don't want to be rude by saying that's surprising, but to have a civil discussion online is kind of rare, right? So if you haven't joined, you should. All right, with that out of the way, we can get into the set. All right, so quick shout out. If you do not know about this website is yugiohprodeck.com, and this is my favorite site to use for deck building, for looking at other lists. My deck lists are all on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. You can, it'll be down in the links if you want to check those out. And the really cool thing is that Alan, the guy who I'm pretty sure runs the website, has a great Discord himself. I went into his Discord and mentioned how whenever I hover over a card, see, he's fixed it already. Before, there used to be a secondary text box that would come up right where your mouse comes up that has the title of the card. And it's kind of useless because you can already see the title, but the title that would also pop up would cover part of the text. And I went in there saying like, hey, I have to like do this weird mouse dance so I can, read all the cards in the text. Is there any way to fix that? And he's fixed it already. So I think it's a great website. I think you should check it out if you haven't. Not sponsored or anything. Okay, where to even start? So I guess the most interesting thing about the set is that it is introducing illusion monsters. Illusion monsters have the special trait so far that they can either destroy monsters or be destroyed by battle. This one's kind of a standoff, as in it's not involved with the Chimera archetype, but you could still play it, obviously. It doesn't have a way to special summon itself. It's level 7, so I'm not sure how exactly you'd get this guy out easily without tribute summoning. But if it battles at the end of the damage step, you can take control of the battled monster. And then also, if another monster attacks, you can destroy one card on the field. So I guess the idea is you'd get it out, attack something, steal it, use it to attack and destroy a card on their field. Pretty interesting. I guess you'd consider that a 2-for-1, right? The main illusionists are involving the 2 fusions, Chimera, King of Phantom Beasts, and the big boy, Chimera the Illusion Beast, or maybe Chimera the Illusion Magical Beast. I don't know. This is the big one though. Aside from the 2 fusion deck monsters, it has 3 supporting cards in the main deck. It's got Gazelle, King of Mythical Claws, Cornfield Codal, and Mirror Swordsman. They all support the Chimera fusion archetype, I guess you would call it, and it's got its own fusion. This fusion's pretty good. Quick play during either main phase. Fusion summon any fusion monster from your extra deck, but it has to be, you have to use a beast or fiend for material. And while it's in your graveyard during your main phase, you can add it back to your hand or banish it to special summon both Gazelle and Baphomet from your deck. That's pretty cool. Huge callback, huge throwback to old cards. With only 3 main deck monsters, I'm not sure exactly how good it would be as a domain format deck. If you pick Gazelle, it's normal summonable from the Deckmaster Zone, and it also includes in its text, it has Fiend in its text, Illusion in its text, and it is a beast. So that covers everything. If this was your Deckmaster, you could play all the cards that support the Chimera archetype, including the old ones like Baphomet and whatnot. And this gets you either the fusion. Oh, I guess I missed out. There's actually another main deck monster. It's a level 5. Where is he? Here we go. Berfomet the big winged Berfomet. So I guess there's 4 main deck monsters. But this one's pretty good because if it gets summoned, you can add 2 cards to your hand, a level 4 beast and a Chimera fusion. And if it's used as fusion material, you can target a illusion monster in your graveyard and special summon it. If he was your deck master, you can normal summon it, add this to your hand, but then you're kind of stuck because you would need a way to summon it. So again, I'm not sure exactly how well the deck would work right now. From my understanding, there's more support coming, so who knows what direction the deck will go in. It's a new creature type. I imagine they'll be printing a lot of it. Who's to say the new illusion stuff doesn't also support this? I'm really interested to see what direction they take illusion in, because it so far kind of seems to be a mixed bag. Like the last thing we had was Cyberse, right? And all of those were just centered around link summoning. Is illusion going to be centered around fusion summoning, or is it going to be, you know, a lot of other stuff? Who knows? Another archetype that got quite a bit of support was dinosaurs. I'm pretty sure the last few sets have had quite a bit of dinosaur support. So when this comes out, I'm actually really excited to take a look into dinosaurs, because I have a friend who's loves Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and he said he tried building domain dinosaurs and it didn't work out, and that was about over 6 months ago. So I'm interested to see what he thinks about it now, or what I could possibly figure out with dinosaurs. But there's quite a lot of support in this set and the last few sets. It gets a couple extra dex monsters. Grenosaurus Giga Cannon. Every time it destroys a monster by battle, you can detach material, inflict 1,000, and increase its attack by 1,000. So this can get big and scary pretty quick. When it's destroyed, you get to trade with something and do more damage. So this seems like it's pretty good at pushing damage through. This is another extra deck. It's not a dinosaur, but it gets a benefit if you used dinosaurs as its material. Can't be targeted by monster effects. When your opponent activates a card, you can remove one of the materials if all of the materials are dinosaur or reptile. Target one face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effects. So from what I understand, if they just activate Dark Hole, you could negate it, right? That's huge in Domain, because so many people played Dark Hole, Raigeki, all that stuff, Torrential Tribute. If you're using all dinosaurs, you could do this. You could negate something like that twice. That seems pretty good for Domain, being able to preserve your board presence. I love the throwbacks to old duel monsters, you know, with some Rex support. This guy's level 9. He doesn't have any easy way to specifically summon himself, but he can make 2 attacks, which is pretty strong. It can trade with 2 cards. That's important for Domain. The other ability can pop 2 more monsters if it wasn't summoned that turn. I don't think you'll ever be able to get this off reliably. That seems really hard to pull off. You would have to, if you summoned this at the end of your previous player's turn so that your turn was the next turn and could activate it, maybe then. If you do get it off, it's going to feel pretty good. There's also the mini Rex. He can special summon himself. He can also hopefully trade with something when you do summon him. It's important to note that they both this Rex and the other Rex had 1200 attack, because this continuous spell lets you search for dinosaurs with 1200 defense, so that's cool. You can search for those other dinosaurs. There's also a new pill. Tribute 2 of any monsters, special summon a dinosaur from your deck. Pretty good. Or extra deck. That's kind of crazy, actually. And then some new evil tile to go with those. I believe they work with dinosaurs quite a bit. Not gonna lie, I don't really know what the evil archetype does. This set has quite a bit of 5Ds nostalgia throwback. Crimson Dragon. I imagine if you watch 5Ds, you're super excited for this stuff. I missed out on it personally, but they seem to all work with the synchro boss monsters from 5Ds, like Power Tool Dragon, Fairy Dragon, Stardust, all that stuff. Got kind of a new Stardust with this, and quick effect, it can trade out into another, I imagine, big synchro monster. That's always nice, right? This card can bring back, is basically kind of like a soul charge for those synchro monsters, but it negates their effects and their levels are 1. So I'm not exactly sure what you would be able to pull off with this, but it is an easy way to special out the Crimson Dragon that we just showed. This can go grab a synchro spell trap with a tuner on the field or graveyard. Super easy to activate. Go get this synchro spell. I'm sure there's quite a bit more you can get too, so this probably seems like it's really versatile, and I imagine it's really good if that's what you're trying to do in a domain deck. Like even if it's just Stardust or Black Rose Dragon, whatever. There is a new Synchron in this set. Super easy to get out. You can use it as a tuner waltz, as material while it's in your hand, and while it's in the graveyard, it specials itself by milling a card. Easy peasy. Synchro material. Another archetype that's getting a ton of support in this is the Visa Starfrost archetype. Amritara. This is an archetype that's really interesting to me. I haven't delved into all of the Visa Starfrost support because there's a ton of it. It kind of reminds me of when I was looking into the branded Despia stuff. There's a lot of adjacent archetypes that work with it. In this case, there's the Kashtira, Tearlaments, Manadium. There's one more, Scareclaw. I do plan on looking into this deck because it does seem quite strong. The problem is only having one Visa Starfrost and all of the different archetypes being different attributes, types, all that stuff. I imagine I would have to use Elysium as a deck master. in order to play all the things. It does seem like it would be consistent because all the archetypes have their own field spell that search for things. So I would think that would come in handy when hopefully making sure that the deck functions in a domain game. But I also imagine it would be really expensive because all this stuff is played in, standard Yu-Gi-Oh, advanced format Yu-Gi-Oh. So we'll see. I might look into this. It's gonna be a little rough though because I have like 0 of the cards right now that work with Visa Starfrost. This guy seems pretty good for the deck. He helps with the consistency problem. He searches for a spell trap that mentions Visa Starfrost and can destroy one monster you control. From what I understand, a lot of the effects activate off of their cards being destroyed, so that facilitates the deck, I'm sure. You're not just neg-1ing yourself for no reason. To go with him, there's another Mana DM tuner. If you have Visas, specials itself. And if it's destroyed, you can get any other Mana DM tuner from your deck, so that's pretty good. I'd imagine this would go into that said deck. This spell can special summon that Visa Synchro monster that I just showed you. If you have Visas and 4 other monsters with 1500 attack, 2100 defense that are banished in your graveyard or face up on your field. I don't know how easy that is. I'm pretty sure a lot of the cards in all of those archetypes have a lot of monsters with 1500 attack, 2100 defense. I'm not sure exactly how easy this is to get off, but if you can't, then I guess you could just use the first ability to revive one of those monsters from your graveyard. New field spell, which has 4 really good abilities, and the fact that you'd be able to activate one of these each of the 4 turns seems like this is probably really, really good. And it searches for any other field spell. Yeah, this seems like it's primo consistency card here. This card also seems really good for that hypothetical deck I'm talking about. Searches for anything that mentions Visas and returns cards that are banished. Exactly what we want to do in Domain. This prevents Visas. Oh, this prevents the first time each monster you control would be destroyed by battle each turn, and recycles monsters from your graveyard. That seems, again, really good for Domain. So yeah, I think with this wave of support, I'm definitely going to look into trying out a Visa Starfrost deck myself. I really liked Branded Albaz lore and all the different archetypes that worked well together. My Branded Albaz deck is my favorite deck, and this seems kind of like adjacent in that there's lots of archetypes that work well together. The Branded Albaz was a lot easier to fit into one deck because almost all of it is light dark. This uses stuff from all over the place, and I imagine I'm going to have to use Elysium as the deck master. Because of that, the deck's going to have a bit of higher consistency in order to work well, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, some other archetypes I got support. Unchained. This guy's amazing. Adds a monster, Unchained monster from deck or graveyard to your hand. If he's destroyed, you can banish it, special summon a fiend monster from your hand or graveyard, then destroy one card you control. Obviously, Unchained loves all of that. And if he's specifically your deck master, you'd be able to reuse him quite a bit by, link summoning him again from the Deckmaster zone, banishing it from the graveyard to get that effect, and then putting it back in the Deckmaster zone. I think this guy is probably a good contender for a Deckmaster for that deck. And with him came a couple of main deck monsters, Shavara and Shiyama. This guy puts himself on the bottom of the deck to be used again, so that's really good. This special summons itself from your hand, easy to get out. This special summons itself from the graveyard, easy to play, destroys stuff like you want. Great cards for the Unchained archetype. And I'm pretty sure with these, I also want to try out the Unchained archetype because it just seems like a blast, destroying stuff every single turn with the 4 turns that consist of a rotation in Domain format. Good stuff. Let's see, what else? Noble Arms getting some new stuff. I imagine they're pushing a lot of fire stuff because there's going to be more fire support in the fire-centric booster pack that they're going to be putting out soon. I'm going to be honest, I don't exactly know. I know they use equip spells and warriors, so as far as like gauging how good all this stuff is, I'm not exactly sure, but I imagine it seems pretty good. Lots of searching, lots of equipping for free. But from what I understand, these are not Noble Arms aren't exactly played in like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, so these are probably really cheap. And there's, from what I understand, lots of Noble Arms, Infernoble, all those cards. So it's you could probably build something that's really consistent in Domain format. This lets you get an equip from your deck or graveyard, and then lets you get a Fire Warrior monster that is banished or in your graveyard. Seems exactly what you want to be doing. A couple of new main deck monsters. You got a new field spell. I think this is a new field spell anyway. This card's weird. It's just not what the art I would expect from. It's not the art I would expect from a Noble Arms card. Let's see if we can take a look. Yeah, this is like somebody drawing manga or something. And from what I understand, like the Noble Arms is supposed to be like Knights of the Round Table stuff. So this is it's cool. It just lets you reveal a Noble Arms equip spell and then special summon an Infernoble Knight from your deck. So yeah, like I said, there's tons of searching. It seems really consistent. I don't imagine it would be difficult to put together. I might try and get my friend into it because back in the day when we were playing, he loved Warrior archetype, like Marauding Captain stuff, and I'm thinking this would be maybe something he could get into. Okay, I think those are all of the main like archetypes I got support. Oh, there's another, yay, another Runic extra deck monster. I'm sure everybody's super excited about that. Not that there's anything wrong with Runics. They're actually just they're kind of difficult to use in domain format because there's no main deck monsters. You have to be able to fit them in your extra deck and dedicate a good portion of your main deck to all the spells and the field spell. I haven't tried it myself, but I'm sure it'd be fine. It's just, I don't think it'd be as easy as it is to mill one person for 40 cards. It's probably not even doable in 3-player when they'll have 60 cards. So I don't think milling would be the main game plan anymore. It'd probably just be more like using them to stall. Numelaria got some new stuff. Numelaria is another interesting archetype that I'm not sure how it would exactly work in domain format because it's all centered around the little sleeping girl and having no cards in your extra deck or removing stuff from your extra deck. I don't know. If anybody's built Numelaria, let me know. I would love to see that type of deck because I'm not sure exactly how you would approach it. Oh yeah, Altergeist got some stuff. I'm not sure exactly what Altergeist. I understand that they're spellcasters and they use a lot of traps. So kind of a control-y archetype, which I like. I've been playing Labyrinth. I have a Labyrinth domain deck and I love it. And I'm pretty sure, I hear Dazif talk about Altergeist being one of his favorite archetypes, so I'm sure he's excited about this. This just searches for an Altergeist trap and it lets you yoink monsters. Seems good. If this card's added, you can special it. If it's summoned, target an Altergeist monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Could be that Altergeist monster you attributed to activate that Link monster, right? And I think they also got a trap. Target Altergeist, like Link monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Lets you normal summon Altergeist monster. Could get back that Link monster that is also coming out in the set. And Altergeists being spellcasters, you can mix them with all kinds of cool archetypes. So I haven't seen anybody build Altergeist in domain format. So if you like Altergeist, you should take a crack at building a domain deck because I haven't seen one yet. There's another archetype. I believe this list right here is going off of the OCG. And the TCG is including Tistina cards. This archetype's kind of interesting. It's only got 4 main deck monsters, no extra deck monsters, and 2 spells. So it only has 6 cards to start with, but after reading them, they seem pretty crazy. If this is in your hand or graveyard and you control a light Tistina monster, you can special summon this card. You can also pop it or a face down card you control, add a Tistina card from your deck to your hand. So you could pop itself. Go get a Tistina, like if you get that light Tistina monster and you have that Tistina monster out, you could special summon this from the graveyard. But I imagine you would be popping it to get either the field spell. Yeah, I would think you would get the field spell because then you could activate the field spell to send this to the graveyard. So you have, and this also can special summon itself from the graveyard if you control a light Tistina monster. So I'd imagine you would start with this, send the field spell, activate the field spell to send this, the Hound, and then while you control a face-up Tistina card, you would special summon this, and then add a Tistina spell trap, getting the continuous, letting you normal summon in addition. It would let you Book of Moon one of your opponent's monsters, and then add a Tistina card. You could get Crystal God Tistina. Or sorry, the field spell would actually be able to special summon Crystal God Tistina. Now, the cool thing about the boss monsters is this during your main phase can Book of Eclipse one opponent's monsters, and then destroy whatever's face up left. So they're Link monsters, they're continuous spell traps. That seems crazy to me. And then if it's destroyed by an opponent's card, you do that again. The Demigod can do that as a quick effect. That seems pretty powerful, being able to do this once a turn in domain against 3 opponents. Yeah, it's only got 6 cards from the main deck. They're all Aqua monsters, so I guess if you have access to Aqua, it'd be easy to splash. But otherwise, the 2 boss monsters are light. This is Earth, and this is Wind. So they don't share an attribute, which is unfortunate. And Aqua is kind of like, there's not very many Aqua archetypes, right? I can't particularly think of anything off the top of my head. But if this gets any more support, I imagine this could definitely be a menace in domain format if somebody starts getting these going. So I wanted to mention those guys. There's some cards that I'm personally excited about to come out. This card seems super generic. Tokusano Shinkyojin. Send monsters from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard whose levels equal 10. Draw 2 cards. Generic draw card. Works particularly well with a Monarch that I'm excited about. I play Monarchs in domain format, and I'm really excited that there's going to be like a new type of Monarch coming out. There's some issues with how the cards work together because this has different stats, but this card's pretty crazy. It has an inherent way to tribute summon it using an opponent's monster. That's great. I love hearing that. And when it's tribute summoned, you can banish a random card from your opponent's hand and inflict 1,000 damage. Then if it was tribute summoned using by attributing a level 8 or higher tribute summoned monster, so the Mega Monarch, you can apply another effect. Banish a card on the field. If it's fire or dark, inflict 200 times its level. So it doesn't say it has to be another card. You can target itself. So on summon, you deal 1,000, and you could banish itself to deal another 2,000. That's 3k just out of nowhere, and tributing one of an opponent's monster. I can't wait to see what the rest of these Monarchs do. This is the only Monarch card in the set from what I understand, but I am hyped to see the rest. Also, the random note, these Nimlaria cards, I believe the main deck ones are all level 10, so you can do that. Also, Eldritch is level 10. I imagine because you can send an Eldritch from your hand, just draw 2 cards. That's exactly what Eldritch would want to do, right? Really generic, and I'm sure this works with way more archetypes than I'm giving it credit for, but this seems really good. Another really generic card, Fusion Reinforcement. I guess this is called Fusion Armament. I'm not sure what the English card's going to be called, but reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck and special summon one of the fusion materials whose name is mentioned on that monster from your extra deck or graveyard, but it can't attack and use any effects. So even on just from the card art, you can see it's revealing a Mirage Knight to special summon Flame Swordsman. Now, I love this card because I really like fusion summoning, and there's a lot of, you can reveal the plethora of Dark Magician fusions to bring back Dark Magician from your graveyard. There's some Gaia monsters that this is supposed to work with, where you could reveal Gaia the Dragon Champion and just normal summon. It's a normal 2600 monster, right? But in that deck, that's something you'd want to do. You could also, in this set, you can reveal the big Chimera and special summon Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast from your extra deck, which if you don't remember, that's this guy. So an easy way to you don't have to jump through the hoops to play this out. You could just use Fusion Reinforcement. It's nice. It's helpful. And again, I'm sure there's a bajillion different types of archetypes that this works really well for, so that's why I love it. It's super generic, easy to use. I think it's going to be played quite a bit in Fusion archetypes. Random Dark World card, but it happens to be probably one of the best Dark World cards. This card's great. I have Dark Worlds built from the structure deck, and this is definitely going in. This card I already mentioned, but I do believe that, I would say this is pretty generic in that you just have to have a tuner. You can go search for any sync or spell trap. Card's great. I believe it's going to get played a lot. We got a new Channeler, Hita. Even though discarding this card plus a fire monster to search for any other fire monster, you're neg-1ing yourself. I think for the consistency, if you have access to fire, you're probably going to be playing this card. This card, even though I'm not personally excited about it, it's kind of crazy. If you use it as material for a link summon, you can special summon it to your opponent's field, and then they have to play with their hand revealed. I don't think this is particularly good in Domain because there's 3 opponents and you're just singling one person out. But I imagine in 1v1, this is a lot better because then you can see what hand traps they got, what you have to play around, what you have to worry about that they're going to play on their turn. I'm kind of surprised, honestly. I haven't really heard anybody talk about this card. Maybe it's not as good as I'm giving it credit for, but it is interesting. This card's kind of funny. I just like the art. It's basically JoJo Muda 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 Muda. I love it. Card's not good, but I just find it funny. But yeah, all right, that is most of the set. I went over, talked about as much as I could. I'm sorry I'm not too knowledgeable about a few of the archetypes. I'm a returning player from 2009. I am learning. I already have 12 domain decks, and I have plans to build many more. I have Rescue Ace on the way. I have Code Talker / Firewall stuff on the way. I'm going to build that. I'm definitely interested in looking into Visa Starfrost, although I think it's going to be expensive. And I probably will try the illusion stuff, the Chimera. I don't think Phantom Beasts are any good. I'll look into it. I'll try and make it work just because the archetype seems cool. I like Dual Monster era stuff, so I'm definitely going to be giving it a try. But I want to know what you guys are excited for. If there's anything you're excited about from the set, please tell me about it. I love reading your comments. And if you haven't joined the Discord, like I said, there'll be a link below in my Linktree. You can join. Anybody can join. We love seeing everybody that comes by. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll see you then.